Good morning, everybody. Matt Modak here with OddsJam, here to give you my favorite DFS plays for today. So when I say DFS, I'm specifically talking about PrizePicks, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, all those DFS daily fantasy sports companies pulled, or I should say I'm filtering the OddsJam positive EV page specifically for these DFS companies, seeing if we can get some good plays. So I'm using the OddsJam positive EV page as well as the OddsJam screen to find these DFS plays. And DFS, I'm assuming everybody watching this knows how it works, but the strategy on placing profitable DFS plays is different from the actual sports betting, like DraftKings, FanDuel, that stuff is different than DFS like PrizePicks and Underdog. For actual sports betting, you're looking for value across the board, right? So a plus money play can be really, really valuable compared to the rest of the sports books. For DFS, the strategy is a little bit different. All you're looking to do is find player props that are likely to hit, right? That are likely to hit. It's pretty much as simple as that, which I know sounds like I'm dumbing it down. Like, oh, wow, you're trying to find plays that are likely to hit. Super helpful. But like I mentioned, for sports betting, if a sportsbook thinks a play is likely to hit, they're going to make it more expensive to buy. They're going to charge up the odds. For DFS, and this is kind of the point that I'm getting here, they have the same payout no matter what plays you add. 2 legs on a PrizePicks Underdog Monkey Knife Fight, a 2-leg entry, you're going to double your money. No matter what plays you add, you will double your money. For like a 5 or 6 leg, you're going to 20x your money. Again, it doesn't matter what plays you add. So if you're able to find player props that are likely to hit, and when I say likely to hit, I don't mean like, oh, you know what, Embiid's going to go off tonight, I'm hammering his point total over. No, I mean using the markets, using data to have the sports books, to have the math tell you that this player prop is likely to hit. Add those into DFS plays and you will be profitable. And I can get into exactly how we can use OddsJam, both the OddsJam screen and the OddsJam positive EV page, to find these plays. Now, the EV page is the easiest one. As I mentioned, you literally just filter specifically for the DFS company that you're looking for, and it spits out plays that are all mathematically profitable. And the way it works, so for a PrizePicks 5 or 6 pick flex, the implied odds are minus 119 per individual leg. So what that means is like I mentioned, a 5 or 6 leg, you're going to 20x your money. What that means is the individual leg of one of the 5 has the implied odds of minus 119. So for any situation where the player prop, the actual sports books are giving that player prop implied odds of better than minus 119, and by better I mean more likely to occur, that is going to be a profitable play to add. And this Chris Paul one is showing you exactly what I'm talking about. So the play, and we can get right into the actual entry itself, is Chris Paul over 8.5 assists. Add this to your PrizePicks entry. So the implied odds, as I mentioned, are minus 119. This column here, the no vig odds, is the most important thing. So OddsJam prices, or I guess let me back up here. OddsJam pulls odds from the sharpest sports books in the world, the actual sports books that price odds individually for each play. Some are better than others, right? You see wide-ranging odds across the board from minus 139 to minus 145 to minus 150. Not every single sports book is created equal in terms of pricing odds. Some do a better job than others. And OddsJam back-tested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to determine what sportsbooks are the sharpest, and then uses them to set the market moving forward. So for this Chris Paul play, the sharpest sportsbooks in the world think that this should be priced at about minus 126, and we know the implied odds of a PrizePicks entry are at minus 119. And these no vig odds, this OddsJam perfect line, is important because you can back out the win percentage associated with all of these odds. Something that I find fascinating with sports betting, and it might just be me, but all odds have a win percentage associated with them. So whenever sportsbooks are pricing odds to a play, all they're doing is saying, hey, our model, our algorithm, our payouts suggest that this bet is going to hit X percent of the time. And then they just convert that percent into odds. So if you click this calculator here and you go to win percentage, you can tell, or you can see what the sharp sportsbooks give the win percentage of this bet. Basically saying, we think that there's a 55.84% chance that Chris Paul is going to go over 8.5 assists. Finding player props that are likely to occur. And this is exactly what I meant by that. Use the sportsbooks, use data to tell you, hey, this Chris Paul one is likely to hit. right? It's going to hit over 55, almost 56% of the time. Because we're using a DFS company, we're not paying any extra juice on that. Because look across the board, right? We see the actual sports books that price odds. Like I mentioned, price it minus 140, minus 139, minus 145, minus 150. For these plays, you have to risk 139, 150 bucks just to profit $100. PrizePicks, you don't have to pay any extra juice just because the play is likely to hit. Every single play has the same exact juice. So that's why this Chris Paul one is so good, and that's why using the OddsJam positive EV page is so nice for finding plays, because it literally does it for you. It's showing you player props that are likely to hit that you can get on PrizePicks, like this next one. Same game, so I understand that you won't be able to put these in the same entry, but you can still put them in separate ones. DeAndre Ayton over 9.5 player rebounds. So OddsJam prices the perfect line of this to be at about minus 121. We know that the implied odds of a PrizePicks flex are minus 119. And then look at win percentage here, 54.72%. So again, giving us a player prop that is likely to hit. And then if you compare to the actual sports books again, Pinnacle, minus 137. And then we see across, like pretty much minus 130s across the board, with one all the way up at minus 155. Giving this play, showing you, telling you that this is significantly likely to occur, basically how they have it priced. So here's play number 2, Ayton over 9.5 rebounds. Play number 3, LaMelo Ball over 38.5 points, rebounds, assists. So the Novig odds price this at about minus 119.5, giving this a win percentage of 54.43% as my third play. And then my fourth one, specifically from the positive EV page, is Tyrese Halliburton under 3.5 rebounds. So this one has a win percentage of 54.36%. So all four of these have a win percentage of above 54%, which isn't like, that 54% isn't the baseline saying, okay, if it's above this, then it's good. It's just nice to see that they all have a win percentage that's decently high. 4% above 50% is pretty good in the long term. So here are 4 plays that I found from the positive EV page. From using you're now using the screen, the strategy is a little bit different. So the way the OddsJam screen works is it just on one screen, which is why it's called the OddsJam screen, pulls up where every sportsbook prices the main line of a player prop to be. So I have up here player receiving yards. So it just pulls up where every single sportsbook is pricing a person's receiving yards. Pretty much what it sounds like. And since I know we are using the DFS companies, PrizePicks, Monkey Knife Fight, and Underdog, you just want to compare, okay, is there a situation where one of these 3 is an outlier, has some sort of mispriced line compared to every other sportsbook? And the perfect example I found is this Stefon Diggs one. So PrizePicks prices Stefon Diggs receiving yardage total to be at 67.5 yards. PrizePicks has his over-under at 67. Compare that to every other book, right? Literally no other book has this. Even every other book, I should say, has this in the 70s, with the lowest being 72.5. So we see odds or lines, yards, whatever you want to call it, range from 72.5 all the way up to 79.5. And that's another DFS one, Monkey Knife Fight. So there's a 12-yard difference between PrizePicks and Monkey Knife Fight in terms of what they're pricing Stefon Diggs yards to be. So it's a really good over on PrizePicks. It's also a pretty good under on Monkey Knife Fight. And I guess PrizePicks is this column right here. So that's why I knew this Stefon Diggs one was PrizePicks. So pretty good middle opportunity. I'm going to stick with my one leg of the Stefon Diggs over on PrizePicks because that's where we have the other plays on. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the logic here. 67.5 yards on PrizePicks. And then you want to compare to the sharp books, like Pinnacle is this one here, has it at 72.5, and it pretty heavily favors it going over. So not only does Pinnacle price it 5 yards higher, right? They price it at 72.5 versus 67.5. They also heavily favor it going over, with the overpriced at minus 127 and the underpriced at minus 103. Really, really good play here. And then the next one, the 6th player prop, is T. Higgins to go over 68.5 receiving yards. The value isn't as good as the Stefon Diggs one, but it still is really good. And then also, side note, if you have PrizePicks, they have it at 65.5. That's another good over to take. If you have PrizePicks, take T. Higgins over 65.5. Excuse me. But so we can see the rest of the sports books, the majority of them have it at 69.5, or Monkey Knife Fight has it at 70.5. But the reason why I like it, excuse me, most books that price it at 69.5 favor it going over that number, right? Like we see DraftKings right here, 69.5. They have the over priced at -125, the under at -105. Pretty decently favoring it going over. As does Pinnacle, the over at -123, the under at -108, favoring the over. As does Tipico and WinBet. So majority of sportsbooks, again, price it higher than what we are getting it at, and they favor it going over. So 2 really good plays found from the OddsJam screen. 6 player props total for you guys for on PrizePicks, and that's going to be it. So if you're tailing these 6, comment and let me know. Other than that, please remember to like, subscribe. I mentioned comment, all that good stuff. Helps me out a ton, but that's it. So enjoy the slate tonight and have a good one.